Hello, how are you? This is Matthew with Love Buddy here today with another Love Tip Live. Love Tips Live. What this is about is tips about how to bring more love into your life, how to solve some of life's problems, utilizing love as the center, as the foundation, as the decision maker in your life. So when we understand love, we have a foundation of love in our lives. We have these principles in our minds that can help us to understand how to live. You might say, there's a manual for how to live your life, and love is it. Love is inside of our hearts, and that's our manual about how to live our lives. We can use it as kind of a reference. How does our heart feel? What does our heart say? And we define these qualities about how to be loving to ourselves and how to be loving to others. Once we kind of understand how love works, we know how to apply it. We know how to make decisions. We know how to empower ourselves, nurture others, be kind to others, live a meaningful life, and live a joyful life and a happy life as well. And so Love Tips is about gaining a little bit of information every day. Normally we're at 10 p.m. New York time, 10 a.m. Philippines time. Today we're an hour late because I had trouble with the sound. I did the video earlier, but the sound wasn't working. Now the sound's working okay. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to do this again. Anyway, today is about soulmate, finding your soulmate, which is a huge topic for people. It can be such a major thing in life. People looking for their soulmate. People feeling lonely. People feeling like they're not necessarily lonely, but they're with the wrong person. They don't have that one special person, and there are dreams and fantasies that there is that one special person out there for everyone. There are some people that give you the possibly hard truth, and that is that most people are never going to find their soulmate. Some people believe that, preach that. Some people preach the idea that your soulmate could be anyone under the right circumstances. So there are a lot of possibilities around this. There's a lot of information that's being sent, that's being shared around and spoken, and people seem pretty confident about what they're saying. I don't think any of them are necessarily true. I think every individual is different. But what I do have to add here when it comes to finding a soulmate, and I think this is pretty much going to work every time, you've got to find your own soul. So if you want to find the person who's right for you, what does that mean? The person who's going to understand you, right? The person who's going to make you feel young again or make you feel alive. Love makes you feel alive. And this other person is going to be kind of reflecting love, or they're going to be giving love to you. You're going to be sharing love together. That's what a real soulmate is about. And if you're not sharing love, then maybe it's not a soulmate, although sometimes people get really attached to someone. They have an ideal, they have a dream, they're in a fantasy world, and they think, oh, there's regardless of how horrible the relationship may be or what a terrible mismatch they might be to each other. So when we're firmly grounded in love, when we understand the principles of love, we understand what love is about, and we live our lives based upon love principles, a foundation of love, and we have a love-centered life, we're going to be nurturing ourselves. We're going to have a communication with ourselves. We're going to have an understanding with ourselves. And we're going to be empowering and nurturing ourselves to the point to where we know what we want for a career. We know what we like for hobbies or for free time. We know what our goals and our dreams are. We know the kind of life we want to live. We pretty much got all that figured out if we have our soul, if we're in touch with our soul, if we're living our life. And our life is, from that standpoint, complete. We're not half a person. We're a whole, complete person, and we could go on that way forever. So this idea about finding your soulmate is going to complete you as the missing piece, blah, blah, blah. It's more like frosting on the cake. It can make life that much sweeter. It can make life that much more wonderful. But if you're not complete in yourself, if you're not content in yourself, if you can't spend time with yourself, if you don't know who you are, forget finding a soulmate who's gonna compliment you, because they're gonna say, wait a second, who are you? You say you're this, you say you don't like that. I met you at a bowling alley, but you don't like to bowl? I don't know, something like that, right? So First, we know who ourselves are. We know we found our own soul. We know who we are inside. We know what we love. We know what our mission in life is. We know the meaning to our own lives. And we know how to take care of ourselves. We know how to nourish ourselves. And we know how to nurture ourselves. We know where we like to live, how we like to live, what we like to do. All these things, we kind of have that figured out. What's best for me as an individual? And once we know those things, once we're in touch with those things, then it's going to be much, much easier to find a soulmate. But if you're already feeling pretty complete, you can be how I was before I met my soulmate. You could be, I'm okay like this. Yeah, it would be great to have a partner. Yeah, it would be nice not to have meals alone. And sometimes, yeah, I did feel lonely, but not a big deal because my life was already full. I was already not perfect, not great, but good enough, adequate enough, and on the right path to doing me the way that honors who I am as a unique individual and living a complete life and knowing what I wanted. All that was already in place. But it wasn't until that was in place that I was going to be in any place at all to find my partner. And when I found her, I really don't know how to say this. And I don't know how to say this where it's not going to sound ridiculous or crazy or, made up or exaggerated or something like that. But it's almost like she is a gift from God. She's absolutely perfectly everything I could have ever have dreamed of and more, things I hadn't thought of. She's just absolutely perfect. And it really makes me believe and trust in love, because that's where she came from, and that's what I learned from her, and that's what we share together. So it's a really magical kind of a thing. But all the relationships before that, before I was really could put my finger on what love is and what self-love is, and when I was following religions and I was following self-help groups and other kind of cults and things like that, and when I was traveling the world trying to get kind of an understanding of how life works and what people do and what the world is all about. And I was kind of on this, I guess at one point when I left San Francisco in 1999 to go to Asia and learn more about China or Japan or other countries in Asia, I guess I was kind of on a search, for a deeper meaning or a deeper understanding of the world. And then what it turned out to be was just experience. And you get enough experience and knowledge and exposure, you reach critical mass, you can draw your own conclusions. That's what I needed to do for me. That was how my journey was. And then when I hit upon love as a philosophy of life to live by, that just absolutely is a million times better than anything else that I tried for myself. What worked best for me, and that's love. And once I came across that as a very solid foundation and center for my life, then it was much more easier for me to find the right person. If I had met her 10 years ago, it wouldn't have worked, because I wasn't in the right place. I didn't know what love was, and I didn't know what self-love was, much less being able to love somebody else or accept their love. And I'm still learning that, but I'm over the hump. I think I'm over the toughest part. So anyway, you want to find your soulmate, find your soul. It's about learning about who you are inside and being able to nurture and love yourself inside and being able to know how to love others, understanding what love is. Once you have that, suddenly the emergency, the great need, the compulsion for another person in your life to complete you is going to be gone. It becomes just a wonderful, beautiful thing, but not something you have to have or your life stops. Find your soul, be yourself, be complete, and your chances of finding that right person the door's gonna open up completely to that. Okay, so that's it. That's the love tip for today. Love and finding your soulmate, through finding your soul. And thanks so much for listening. Hope you have a lot of love in your life. Hope you're having a wonderful day today. My name is Matthew. This is Love Buddy. so nice to be able to chat with you. And it's so nice if you have any feedback. I'm happy to hear that, hear anything you have to say. We'll see you tomorrow at 10 p.m. New York time, 10 a.m. Philippines time. Have a wonderful day. I love you. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.